Subject application development using Java, and today's topic is AWT programs in Java. Myself K. Durga Bhavani, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, SRKR Engineering College, Bhimavaram. Okay, next the objectives of this lecture are to understand the concept of AWT in Java, to understand the AWT hierarchy in Java, and to understand the concept of AWT canvas and example programs, and to understand the concept of panel and frame with the example programs. Okay, first of all, what is the introduction? What is the AWT? Abstract Window Toolkit. Okay, so Java AWT components are platform dependent. Components are displayed according to the view of operating system. AWT is heavyweight, that is its components are using the resources of operating system. Java AWT controls are the used to design graphical user interfaces or web applications. Okay, so what is the hierarchy? Object, component. Okay, here again the component contains the labels, buttons, checkbox, choice, list, container. Okay, here these all are components of the AWT. So first one is label. What is label? Label is a text information that display on the graphical user interface as a string. These are passive controls that do not support any interaction with the user. Okay, so example program, import the AWT package. Next class name is label example, class open. Next one is main method, public static void main string arguments, main method open. So here create the frame f is equal to new frame. So label example. Okay, next label L1 and L2. Okay, L1 is equal to new label of first label. Okay, L1 dot set bounds for 50, 100, 100, 30. Okay, so here we can set the bounds 50, 100, 100, 30. Okay, next label L2 equal to new label, second label. So L2 dot set bounds 50, 150, 100, 30. Okay, next F dot add L1. That means here add the label 1 to the frame. Next F dot add L2. That means here we can add the label 2 to the frame. Next F dot set size 400 400. That means here width is 400 and height is 400. Set the size. Next F dot set layout null. That means here no layout manager. F dot set visible true. Okay, so next close the main method and close the class. So what is the output? Here we can add the label, first label. So first label and next one is second label. These two are added to the frame. This is the label. Next one is button. What is button? A push button is a component that contains a label and that generates an event when it is pressed. Push buttons are objects of type button. Okay, so simply button is a component that contains a label and that generates an event when it is pressed. Okay, example program. First AWT package. Next one is public class. Class name is button example. Class open. Next one is main method. Main method open. Here we can write the frame f equal to new frame of button example. So here button b is equal to new button of click here. Okay, so button is click here button. Next b dot set bounds. Here the bounds the button 50, 100, 80 and 30. This is the size of the button. Okay, set the bounds. Next F dot add b. That means here we can add the button to the frame. Okay, next F dot set size. Set size is 400 400. That means width is 400 and height is 400. Next F dot set layout null. That means no layout manager. Okay, so next F dot set visible true. Okay, so next close the main method and close the class. What is the output? Here the button is b. Okay, this is the button. Button is click here button. Okay, so next one is checkbox. What is the checkbox? What is the definition of checkbox? A checkbox is a control that is used to turn an option on or off. It consists of a small box that can either contain mark or not. There is a label associated with each checkbox that describes the option that box represents. Here we can change the state of the checkbox by clicking it. Checkboxes can be used individually or as a part of group. Checkboxes are objects of the checkbox class. Okay, so example program, import the AWT package. Next class name is checkbox example, class open. Next method is checkbox example and method open. Here we can write the frame f equal to new frame of checkbox example. Next here we can write the checkbox object is checkbox1 equal to new checkbox of C++. Okay, and checkbox is C++. Next checkbox1, and that means object dot set bounds. So set the bounds 100 100 50 50. Next checkbox, another checkbox is checkbox2, new checkbox, here Java true. Next object checkbox 2 object dot set bounds. Next f dot add checkbox 1, that means here we can add the checkbox 1 to the frame. Okay, next one f dot add checkbox 2, here we can add the checkbox 2 to the frame. Next f dot set size 400 400, that means width is 400 and height is 400. Next f dot set layout null, that means no layout manager. F dot set visible true, here we can visible is true. Next close the method. Next public static void means string arguments main method open, new checkbox example close. Next close the main method and finally close the class. What is the output? Here we can create the two checkboxes. These two checkboxes are added to the frame. First checkbox is C++ and then the checkbox is Java. Here we can click the tick mark or we can select the one checkbox. Here we can select Java checkbox. Next one is checkbox group. What is checkbox group? What is the definition of checkbox group? Collection of a checkboxes is placed under one group is considered as checkbox group. These checkboxes are often called radio buttons since one choice is selected at any one time. To create a set of mutually exclusive checkboxes, first define the group to which they will belong and then specify that group when we construct the checkboxes. Okay, so what example program? First import the IWT package, next class open, next we can create the next one is method open, next we can create the frame. So next checkbox group object is cbg equal to new checkbox group. Next checkbox 1 is equal to new checkbox of C++, comma object cbg comma false. Okay, so here first checkbox 1 is set the bounds. So object is checkbox 1 dot set bounds, size 100 100 50 50. Next we can create the another checkbox 2, new checkbox of Java, object true. Okay, so here this one is false and this one is true. That means the first checkbox 1 is false, that means C++ is false, and another checkbox 2 is true. So here next set the size bounds, object is checkbox 2 dot set bounds, size 100 150 50 and 50. Okay, f dot add checkbox 1, f dot add checkbox 2, that means checkbox 1 is added to the frame and checkbox 2 is added to the frame, and set the size height is 400 and width is 400, and next f dot set layout is null, that means no layout manager. Next f dot set visible is true. Next close the method. Next main method open, new checkbox group example Okay. Next, close the main method and close the class. So finally, what is the output? C++ and Java. Here C++ is false. That means no tick mark. Next, here Java is true. Okay, true means it selected the checkbox list. Group of items. Here the group is C++ and Java. So here you can select the one item or one element. That one is Java. Next, what is list? A list class provides a compact multiple choice scrolling selection list. The list object can be constructed to show any number of choices in the visible window. It can be also created to allow multiple selections. Okay. So simply list class provides a compact multiple choice scrolling selection list. Example program. First, import the AWT package. Next, class name is list example, class open. Next, method open. Here we can write the frame f is equal to new frame. Next, list L1 equal to new list of 5. So L1 dot set bounds 100, 75, 75. So here the list contains how many? 5. So L1 dot add item 1, L1 dot add item 2, L1 dot add item 3, item 4 and item 1. That means we can add the items to the label L1. Okay. Now that means list. That means sorry, not label but in list. Okay, that means here the list contains 5 items. Okay, the list contains 5 items. So first of all, item 1 is added to the list 1 and item 2 is added to the list 1 and item 3 is added to the list 1 and item 4 is added to the list 1 and item 5 is added to the list 1. So finally f dot add L1. Here the list is added to the frame. Okay, next f dot set size 400, 400. That means we can set the size. That means width is 400 and height is 400. Next f dot set layout null. That means no layout manager. F dot set visible true. Next, close the method. Next, main method public static void means string arguments. Main method open new list example. Okay, next close the main method and close the class. That means if the list contains how many items? 5 items. Item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4 and item 5. These are 5 items. So these 5 items are added to the list. Okay, so in this list we can scroll the items. Okay, this is the list example program. Next one is text field. What is text field? A text field class implements a single line text entry area, usually called an edit control. Text fields are used to enter strings to edit the information. Text field is a subclass of text component. Okay, so simply a text field is a single line text entry data or entry area, usually called an edit control. Okay, so example program. First import the AWT package and next class name is text field, class open. Next main method open. Next frame, we can create the frame. So text field example. Next text field T1 T2. Okay, text fields are T1 T2. Next T1 is equal to new text field. Here the text field is welcome to Java tutorial point. Next T1 dot set bounds. Okay, T1 size is 50, 100, 200, 30 and T2 equal to new text field AWT tutorial. Okay, here the text fields are T1 and T2. Okay, next T2 dot set bounds. Next f dot add T1, f dot add T2. That means that text one T1 is added to the frame and T2 is added to the frame. Next we can set the size. F dot set size 400 400. 400 is width and 400 is weight. Next F dot set layout null. F dot set visible true. Close the method and class. Here the text field contains two text fields. Okay, first text field is welcome to Java T point and second text field is AWT tutorial. This is the text field. So simply text field means a single line of text is entered in the field or a single line text entry area, usually called an edit control. Okay, the summary, the login page can be created using all the AWT controls and in the user interface, in which the user is asked to enter the name and password as the password in the sequential manner. The entire output of the Java code is a login page that has been created using Java AWT controls. The user can cancel the entry of a particular name and password by clicking on the cancel button in the user interface. Thank you.